Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Nordcraft 101 tutorial. My name is Jay, and today we'll be going over events here in Nordcraft. Now, just for reference, if you want to take a look at anything that I've built here or that I'm playing with here during this video, you can go ahead and go to the link in the description and in the pinned comment, and it would bring you to this page. And this is the website that hosts all the builds that I do for these videos. So far, I have a few of them for actions, contacts, workflows, and events. So you can come here, you can kind of play with what I'm playing with, and you can also open the project yourself so that you can see how it's built. And ladies and gentlemen, if this video provides you any value, do me a favor and leave a like, leave a comment on what you'd like to see more of, and subscribe as we're trying to hit 100 followers. Also, if you are a B2B digital agency and you're looking to have software or automations done for you, go ahead and check us out at riseware.com. All right. Without further ado, let's talk about events. So we kind of have two events here in Nordcraft. We have the regular events that we're familiar with, this being like on a button click or on a form submit. So like things you might find like if you have a button and you come over here to events and you see we have click, we have key up, key down. We for 4 we have submit and reset. These default events. But then we also have component events. So to think about components, you can kind of think about them kind of like attributes, and you know how we're able to pass attributes down, but this is in reverse. So instead of passing data via attributes in, we can pass data out via events. So say on kind of like a form submit, which I'm going to show an example of, we have this form here. And what this form does is it has the first event for the form submit, right? But then it also has a component level event that says on form submit. And then this component level on form submit event is actually being triggered by this regular form submit event, as you can see it right here. So what's going to happen here is that when this form is submitted, is going to trigger the form level, or sorry, the component level event, which we can pass the value out of this form. So if we actually take a look at it, we can see that on this on this on form submit event, we are passing in the data that we have in the form, so that now outside of this form component, you'll see that we have that same on form submit event. And here is where we can use that data that we get out of it. Now, in yesterday's video, we went over workflows. I'm just kind of doing some similar workflow there. So if you want to learn how to build workflows, go ahead and check that video out. It'll be in the top right of the screen. So what we're doing with that data that we get sent out of the form, we have this workflow called received data, which when it runs, it's going to set this show received message variable to true, which is going to show this little sort of loading card that we have. Then it'll sleep for 1.5 seconds, in which afterwards it will. I don't actually know what we're doing here. Oh, we have a variable called form data, which we are then setting the data that we get in from that event. Because as you can see, this workflow has a data parameter, which is being called when the form submit happens. So you see we're passing that data in right there. And then we're going to set the show received message to false. So let's go ahead and see how that works. Is that we can type in jcmpb.com. And what's going to happen is that it's going to send this event out of this component. We will receive it in this next component, and then that's going to trigger this workflow. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. You see form submission received, and then whatever data that was in the form, we sent out of it, and we sent it to the component that was one level above it. So that's the thing with events and how they're kind of similar to attributes is that it can only send data out by one level, unlike context, which can send data down infinitely any amount of levels as long as the thing that's trying to use its data is a child of it. Events only work going one level up. So we can kind of see how this works. If I have two boxes here, and this yellow box will be, or I guess it's blue box now, will be our main component, and this orange smaller box will be our form. In the form, we have the event for on form submit at the component level. So we're saying, hey, whenever this event happens, go ahead and send this. Oops. Go ahead and send this outside of me so that anyone on the same level as where I'm initialized will be able to access that information. And that's how events work in Nordcraft. Again, if you want to play with this for yourself, just go ahead and go to the link in the description or in the pinned comment. You could actually see how this was built. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all, and I hope you enjoyed this short little video on events, and we will see you next time, and happy building.